All right, good to be back, and good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to episode 20 with Vin from the now doxed L1 Task Force. Apparently doxed by concerned community member looking out for all of us. And co-hosting with me is PSX. Now, I think we should wait just a minute or two before we really get rolling there, PSX. But
Yeah.
I think you can get rid of the disclaimer real quick.
Okay, so let's just get to the disclaimer. Ben, if you don't mind, if you can put yourself on mute real quick. Ooh, there's a lot of noise back there. Oh, Jerry?
Yeah.
See if you can mute Ben real quick. There's a lot of background noise real quick. Oh, there we go. Cool. All right. Sorry about that. So we're going to get through our little quick intro, and I'll get through that disclaimer for everybody. So a quick disclaimer to everyone. This podcast should not be considered financial advice. The content of this broadcast here and or other platforms are for educational and entertainment purposes only. Inside our own personal opinions. In order to make the best financial advice and or decision that suits your needs, please conduct your own research and seek the advice from a licensed financial advisor if necessary.
So PSX, apparently they also doxed them pesky little kids too in Scooby-Doo. Removed a mask off a villain, but good thing the diligent mods on Commonwealth were on top of their game and didn't allow the sensitive information to stay on the platform for longer than 9 hours. So only the thousands that looked on it got access to the information, and maybe they can get credited with saving lives. We'd like to thank former members of the L1 Task Force, Lunkburn Army, and Frag Dude for their work and contribution to the chain. We are proud to call you friends.
And quick shout out to Garuda Nudes for their humbleness, sincerity, and work ethic. We've been watching them as they're now launching more content and more products and services throughout their marketplace. They started from knowing nothing to building a universe of their own here on Luna Classic. And a big thank you to Lunk Development Funds Validator for consistently supporting the L1 Task Force through thick and thin. So for anybody considering to delegate to a validator, please consider Lunk Development Funds Validator.
So there's been a lot of controversy then since we last spoke. Some of it's been about Hexagon, some of it's been about DoxChain. What do you think about the doxing event and how that affected everything?
Yes. So for DoxChain first, I think I will go with that first since it's one of the reasons. Firstly is that I am only have Tobias on his project, on his script. So sometimes he has some bugs, he needs some script, I help him out, and that's all. Like for a month, for example, I help him like 4 or 5 hours. Like this is a month, like 4 or 5 hours a month. Like just one or two file script, and that's all the help that I provide to buyers.
Gotcha. And then also with the post that happened on Commonwealth that had pictures of Lunkburn Army's children and everybody's personal information and was on there for 9 hours. What's your take on that?
I'm like so this is something that I really don't know how to comment on because so I actually don't know what I should feel about Lunkburn Army information up there for 9 hours actually.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's sensitive information, really. It was.
I think it's a very like we all know that it's a very controversial thing, but I mean like it is what it is. It has happened. So I will. I mean, like, I don't want to accuse anybody who does that. I also don't want to accuse Rabbi, or I don't want to accuse even the admin of Commonwealth to leave it there for 9 hours. I think there have been a lot of situation going on around that event. So I will leave it as the blank state and not making any comment on that.
Well, I think that's probably the best way to handle it, to be honest, because a lot of things are out of our control. Let's talk about the community reaction with Hexagon. You recently talked with Hexagon in regards to Station, and let's talk about that. The part of the community was pretty angry about it, and but let's just what are your takes on that? PSX got a question real quick.
Yeah, no, I was going to add to see if we can't clear that air a little bit. Even I was I was a little confused, but with all the back and forth, maybe Vin can kind of clear the air a little bit. Like, where's the misunderstanding? Is it really a partnership? Is it not a partnership? Is it a Vin? Go ahead, help me out here.
Yeah. So it's not like we need to define very clearly here. Firstly, I think we can all agree that Hexagon has been a great asset to the chain, since they have been the only team maintaining and handling loads for station, finder, and relevant assets. So for the last 6 months, for the last 3 quarters, their proposals are still accepted by the community. So I think we can all agree on one point, is that Hexagon is important to the chain. So that's the first one I want to clear. The second thing is that the L1 cooperation with Hexagon is more on technical side. So if you read the updated memorandum, then you can see that the L1 and Hexagon has separate structure. I don't talk to Hexagon team, and Hexagon team don't talk to L1 team. So we don't make orders. We don't order people from other teams, and we keep that separate. So that the first one is that our structure is independent, like before. The second thing is that our funds, our multi-sig is separated, totally independent. Hexagon do what they want, they want do what we want. So
yeah, that's exactly it, right? That's what. So I had a bunch of conversations with people about this specifically, and you were one of the ones that we talked to about it. Yeah, it's kind of strange. If it kind of blew my mind, because we're talking about Hexagon that got funded, right?
Yes.
And then
they got funded for 3 quarters.
Yeah, so the community that funded them, and we don't have another team to provide the same solution. So there's no alternate choice. You're kind of forced to work with what we got. So moving forward, I mean, I think if people want a different solution, then someone can create a solution. I mean, running nodes and doing that kind of stuff, I mean, it's not something I want to do personally, but I'm sure there's other solutions out there that somebody might be thinking in their head. But there's always a lot of can complain all day long, but if there's not a solution to the problem, then yeah, go ahead, PSX.
Then I mean, understandably, I understand the community sentiment of the controversial specific relationship. And I wanted to communicate out there that I sent, you did receive all my preliminary legal reports that I blasted out back in December 25th of 2022. And you've given it careful thought as far as like moving forward. The what I thought was really interesting is, when I had to take a step back and really try to put into thought like how bad of a situation it really is that have you found any other alternative solutions other than Hexagon?
Um, so since I have taken this request from the proposal, I've got a little bit close to probably one week and a half. So like during, so I think I can give my answer. Let's say back when I first joined Lang. Like when I first joined Lang, like I don't know any team working on station and fighter. Then there was only TFL that I know of. And then I discovered Terra Rebels. So I discovered them during the second quarter. And ever since then, I haven't discovered any other teams. So during all that time, I talked to many parties as well. And they also confirmed with me that Hexagon has been the only team so far. So this is the current situation. And for future situation, for the next 3 months, I think this is something that the community will have to do because it's not really in L1 scope. We focus entirely on L1. We don't have expertise to say or to write code on L2, and we also don't have expertise to find the correct person for L2 as well. So it's going to be like a very hard task for L1 to do. So of course that if I find anyone suitable, like if during my time, if I find anyone suitable, then I can introduce them to L2 work on Lang. Otherwise, it's entirely up to the community to find an L2 team in. Yeah,
So
so
basically,
that was sum up. So that was sum up of the situation with L2 team.
so basically, they were already funded. They're the ones that you kind of had to talk to, and as long as they continue to get funded, you have your hands tied behind your back. You have to communicate with the people that are doing the job. So that makes sense. So if for whatever reason people don't like what's going on, there is governance, so we can all figure it out. It's just they're popular enough to be there. So there's a lot of things I don't like too about things that go on, but when something passes a proposal, I have to accept it because governance is governance, and that's kind of the way things go. That's kind of how I think about it anyway. Unless there's another solution that can be provided, right? And it kind of sounds like you have a backup plan if for whatever reason next time around they don't get funded. So I like that. Let's move on to the next topic, and because I think that's been beat over. They beat
Like
a
dead horse.
horse. It's a dead horse on Twitter over
dead
and over
horse.
again.
Yeah, I think we see it a lot.
PSX. The thing that really bothers me though is like we can complain on Twitter a lot, right? And rightfully so, because it's freedom of speech. And if we don't like something, people can, have a voice. However, I look at it from a very realistic standpoint. I was like, well, if there's nothing you're putting forward to as a solution, and there's no other option out there, then what are we? We're complaining about a potential problem, or that's how they're bringing it up. But if we're not providing a solution for it, it's doing nothing.
I mean, I haven't really paid too much attention to the governance in itself, just distracted by the onslaught of tweets that when, one individual puts something out, doesn't seem malicious, just seems more in good intent, just to kind of keep people posted. Somebody has a big disagreements, how they word the tweet comes off comes off very spiteful. I think that's where the a lot of the anger comes from, is that somebody interprets one tweet and then blows it way out of proportions without a real dialogue taking place. And unfortunately, Twitter is not the tweeting is not exactly the appropriate platform to have those types of open dialogue. I mean, just recently, I posted something regarding Zardar, and some of the tweets and how they were worded was really just. It was a lot of cringe. So it's like, I mean, I get people have their disagreements with one individual. My only take was out of a specific feature, and this was regarding DocsChain. And, that's something that I will be following very closely. I'm very fascinated to what direction, even with Vin's involvement, despite his minimal activities with it. But I don't know, something that I'll be considering. We'll talk more about that later on behind the scenes, Jerry, if you're up for it, on what my thoughts are, and maybe we can have Zardar on the podcast.
100%. And I know you had a conversation with him recently, so that's going to be happening at some point.
Okay.
We'll be able to talk to him. So,
anyways, back to Ben. Sorry.
Back to Vin. Yeah. So Vin, yeah, understandable that you focus on smart contracts for the L1 team, and we get that. And the L1 team is very focused, and you're basically beholden to what the proposal is said, because you're required to do what your guys' proposal does, and you're going to have to talk to people that have proposals that pass that are also working on the chain if there's some cooperation that's expected. So that makes sense. But also there's been a YouTuber that has recently kind of joined in on the conversation as well. And you've had some interactions personally with Happy Caddy Crypto. And I want to mention him because if you guys don't know about Happy Caddy Crypto, he does have some very educational videos, and a lot of it's opinion. But I mean, with a grain of salt, you listen to it because he's got some good information sometimes. And I don't know, PSX. There's something about that either ruffles people's feathers or affects the L1 task force. Am I putting this in the right direction? I mean, Ben, has that affected?
Sorry.
That's all right, Ben.
Sorry.
It was just, I was.
Yes.
Yeah, no worries. It was just since you've had like more of a direction with HCC or Happy Caddy Crypto, I mean, maybe you can kind of add some clarity as for like what's going on with him, and because sometimes it's. Oh, I hear an echo.
That's because he's got his speaker on still.
Oh.
But yeah, Ben, I mean, you spoke with Happy Caddy, didn't you? And you guys kind of...
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I spoke with Happy Cat Crypto.
Yeah,
and,
so go ahead.
What I can say is that Happy Cat Crypto is very enthusiastic. He has YouTuber followers that he has to please. His agenda, like his whole goal, is to remove terror rebels. I totally understand his motive. But I mean, like that's one side, right? That's his political agenda, is to push for the removal of terror rebels. And my technical agenda is that if they are removed, then user cannot interact with chain anymore. So so that's my technical agenda, to make sure that people can interact with the chain in a secure manner and seamlessly. And that's my only goal, is to ensure that people get to interact with chain, and that like they don't have to go to command line where they have to type in some command to work with the chain. They don't have to also like make like URL requests where they have to like understand how requests work and then convert it to base64 format and then interact with the chain. So this is something that I don't want user to do. I don't want user to do all that tech jargon. What I want is that they have session and FIDO to interact with easily and seamlessly. We all know what happened with the first upgrade. um, Station and FIDO is obsolete, and people can interact with the chain for like 2 or 3 weeks or so. So this is a scenario that I don't want to repeat. And that's my technical agenda. Ensuring that people get access to station and FIDO to interact with chain as easy as possible. For Happy Cat Crypto, he wants to remove Terra Rebels, and it's something that we all have to live with. People have different agenda.
So I'm pretty sure he's kind of a doer. I mean, he talks a lot, but a lot of times if he sees something that needs to get fixed, he usually comes up with a solution. So I'm interested in paying attention to that and see what he comes up with. But PSX, go ahead.
My button won't work. Okay, so speaking of technical agendas, like I want to dial over to what do you call it? The wallets. You put out a screenshot of Gavik, and he's down in the audience, and there was like the on ramp screenshot. I mean, that got me really excited. And I remember, what was it, back in March or something like that Jerry and I and LBA had this conversation about on ramping, and I didn't realize that was already in development. I don't know. Can you send some updates on that? Because that's I was like, that was pretty cool. Man, is he alive?
Yeah, he's there.
Sorry. Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. This is so back in March. LBA, and I don't know if Jerry was even able to get around to that. Being a part of that conversation.
I have another call. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It just so that everybody knows, it
Sorry.
is 10
Can you
p.m.
repeat what it was said?
Yeah,
Yep.
real quick. Yeah, real quick. It is 10 p.m. In Vietnam, so he's ready to party. So we're trying to. So, Ben, we know you're anxious to get out and join your friends for some beer and pho, but find a quiet place, will you?
Yeah, Vin. In between conversation, if you could mute the mic, because sometimes we're getting feedback, but right now it's fine. Uh, let's move on from that. I
Yeah,
mean, we kind
yeah,
of the introduction to take care of some of the controversy that's been happening because
yeah. But I
we're
want to
never
touch up
short
on
on
the.
drama. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
Ben he dropped out. Let's give him a second to get back in.
I'm adding him again right now. No worries.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I do want to talk about the on ramp, the on ramp part of it, and that's got me really stoked. I didn't. Oh no, he's back.
I'm
You're
back.
good. You're good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what we're talking about, Vin, is LBA was having conversations with various on ramps early in the year. The conversation started quite a while ago, and I don't know if somebody took credit for having that conversation as well at some point, saying
He's irrelevant. Whatever.
that
I just want to know what the
L1.
updates. I was
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I know because we talked to LBA several times. He's been talking to not just one, but several on ramping services for a long period of time, because it was in scope for a further on proposal. So, because how LBA operated is he always had to try to, he always wanted to be prepared. So things that were going to happen the next quarter, he was working on. And that was one of the things. And it was just conversation then, right? And then it came into fruition and something happened from it. And I mean, that ruffled some feathers too. But PSX, how do you want Vin to respond to that? Because
Well, I mean, it was just I just wanted to get some updates, if any, on the on-ramping process. Where is the team at, if anything? I know there's been a lot of delays because of useless distractions. Maybe you can comment on that. What's the next step if there is an update? Give me some juicy stuff here.
So for the on-ramp stuff, I think that with Gavik integration, then it's done. I think this is more on Gavik task since he has been handling it since first. Gavik, can you give people here some update on the on-ramp?
We
Jerry,
could probably bring him up towards the. I mean, we could bring him up right now. Do you want to do that, PSX?
Man, that's usually breaking protocol, but I don't know if he's up for it. We can make an exception.
All right, Gavin, if you want to speak on it real quick, just request. We'll bring you up, and then we'll get into introducing Vin as an individual human being, so that we can get on to the most interesting part of the podcast instead of dealing with controversy, right? But controversy can be fun, so that's why we talk about it sometimes.
I'm bored.
Yeah, you're bored.
I mean, I can give some quick updates. So for some quick update on the on-ramp, then it's integrated into station and is ready to use at any time.
Awesome. Okay. Hence the communication process between the other team, because that's probably going to be that's required to be able to do that. So, Vin, thanks for coming on the podcast today, and I appreciate you being here and taking your time with us. Now, let's talk about you individually. Like, what's your background? What got you into Web3, and kind of that, like your educational background, that kind of stuff. Tell
How many
us
girls have you dated?
How many girls did you date before you got to Luna Classic? Have you dated anyone in Luna Classic?
I said probably one. I mean, like most of the time, I would focusing on engineering, coding, or maybe even I would try to do some more. Like I'm researching into distributed system.
More dating, or?
No, I mean like so I have only dated one so far.
From Luna Classic? No.
No, this is song before. This is song before Luna Classic. Very, very, very very coincident is that her name in Vietnam also means Luna as well. So very coincidental.
It was destined to be. It was destined.
Whoa! Hold on a second. You dated a girl named Luna.
Yeah. So her name translated to English would be Luna.
I'll have to look that up.
That's crazy. We didn't even have this conversation before. Now this is coming up just because out of some randomness.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, we're going to get a chance, man, to reach out to her. I was like, now we're curious.
And,
you guys are on good terms.
Like that's the only girl I had in my life. I don't do much dating since I'm not very good around girls. Like I don't really know what to say or how to impress. So since most of my time would be on engineering and learning more into blockchain and distributed system. So that's
So
a
can
little
you
bit
give it?
background.
Yeah, can you give us a
So
little bit
so
of that?
basically, you decided that you can only have one moon in your life, and you right now you are in a relationship with Lady Lunk.
No, currently I'm not in any relationship at all.
No, Lady Lunk, you, the blockchain.
Yes.
All right, that's. I mean, I support that relationship right there. Where'd you go to school? I mean, you do have college background because I do remember us talking about that.
Yes. So I learned in Hanoi University of Science and Technology. It's one of the top engineering university in Vietnam. A little bit my background there. Other than that, most of my time is spent on self learning. I mean, like that would be the most important thing, right? Is to self learn. Everything in blockchain is also self taught as well. Also with some help from external means. So back in the day, I worked at Notional, and I co-founded with Jacob. Um, so Jacob was an external mean, and he is like he's a very close assistant to Jacob. So he knows some about how Tendermint works, and also with Jacob is some of my friends back in school as well. I will also do a lot of knowledge exchange on Cosmo SDK. So I mean, like that's the privilege when you work with an external meet is that like you have you talk with like other external meet as well, like for example in Zaki Manian. So I learned a lot from that team as well. So really an experience, and also how I learned and got and first got into Tenemy and Cosmo SDK.
I think the
I
environment that
believe,
you're in, you're probably always
yes.
learning.
So I learned it like I work mostly on it like 2 years now. Yeah, more than 2 years now. So I understand quite a lot about how Tenemy and Cosmos works. I mean, like there's a lot of things that are undocumented that are undocumented. For example, like I also find it like really like not really like new developer friendly, since a lot of it it's like people talk to each other, people ask each other on how to solve it, and not really documented. So, I mean, like it's also really hard to get new people into Cosmo SDK. Some of the most common that Cosmo developer will face is like chain hole and app hash error. Uh, Oftentimes these are quite dangerous and can make a lot of people panic at first sight. I also got myself panic at first. Like I don't know how to work around all those strange hash. But I mean, like that's like first 6 months. But then after that, like I I'm really used to the stack now, so not really difficult anymore.
PSX, you have your hand up, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was done or not, but I had this. I had a conversation with one of your with one of your old colleague Reese, and basically
Yes.
based on yeah. Hold on a second. He one of the things that him and I were talking about was the difficulties of onboarding a Web3 developer, I was just taking note of like, of your learning curve and the difficulties that you had to go through on the learning curve. I mean, how fast? I mean, you said 6 months, is that right?
Yeah, but this is like having a team to work on. Like I don't
Mm,
know how long it will take for
yeah.
people without mentor.
So how difficult is it to find Web3 developers who are like ready to go, like they're ready to code, build, based on your experience? Is it?
Most of this, there's a misconception around Web3
Mhm.
is that like most people would be like smart contract developer, and then when these smart contract developer like they work on layer one, then it's completely different skill set. It's completely different knowledge. The layer one of blockchain relies on distributed system and not on smart contract. So like a lot of people like they misunderstood this. So they hire smart contract developer to do layer one and layer zero work, which is totally wrong actually. Like there's no like the knowledge between these two is completely different. So like for layer one and layer zero it's more about distributed system. So people with like background in distributed system can they can do layer one work much more easier than a smart contract developer. And this kind of misconception is why hiring Web3 developer so hard. Like people do not look at the correct people do not look at the correct type of type of engineer for this role. People look at wrong one. I mean, like
Okay.
if you have a distributed engineer, then they can catch up much more quicker.
And I know you went to there was a in one of our previous early conversations. Vietnam is currently poised to be one of the leading um, countries to, I don't know, train or educate students on on Web3 development, specifically in Cosmos, if I understood that correctly. But my to be more precise in my question, how many students is even if that's the case? I mean, how many students or how many trained individuals do you think are coming out of at least from your university alone? I mean, how big was your class? I'm trying to put things in perspective here.
Uh, I would say many actually. So I know um, in Oceanol there are 20 in other chain also based in Vietnam. They have like 20 or 30 engineers or so, and
Jesus.
they're even doing a lot of uh, hackathon to attract more. And each of those hackathon has like I don't know, like six or seven team. Each team has like four, probably 20 more smart contract developers. I say uh, I mean like I don't have like a really exact estimation, but I can say probably around 50 for my class.
Wow, just 50 from your class alone. That's crazy. That's
Yes,
so
but my class has like 1,000 students or so.
Shit. Hey, Jared, I just had this idea. He said like Notion allows it a hackathon to attract developers. I mean, here's another crazy question. How would the Luna Classic community want to attract or host a hackathon event to attract developers? Like, what do you like? I'm having brain farts right now, and it just,
You always have brain farts.
well, I like brain farts. They
I mean,
smell
like
pretty good on my
that,
end.
that can be a very good idea. That can be a very good idea to attract more.
Without the
Uh,
politics. I was like, man,
yeah.
oh man.
I mean, like a lot of like company and chains have been to Vietnam. Like they seek out talents. So like Vietnam has like a very strong background in outsourcing. So it's only natural that blockchain will be soon after it. Like we have a very strong background in outsourcing. Then next will be on blockchain. Like I also saw many people investing that time into blockchain as well.
So the future's looking better. There's going to be a lot more developers available that are going to be able to work on chains. It sounds like, especially Cosmos style chains, right?
Yes.
That sounds amazing. Now, you've done quite a bit so far with the Luna Classic community. I know you have tons of stories, and we're getting close to our time, but I want to get to what you feel are your greatest accomplishments while with Luna Classic.
Two things actually. The first one would be the testing framework that I built. The testing framework actually like we do is development time on long. Like before, like for the first upgrade, like actually this is a problem that the first L1 came to Notional Lab because they are not sure whether the upgrade will be successful. That's why they came to Notional Lab at first place. And I was in charge of like working with original L1 team. So I soon realized what they're missing. I soon realized that like a testing framework for Lang was missing. So that's what I first work on. To give everyone an idea on how that improved like development time on Lang. Before I believe everyone can see that there was no upgrade before on Lang. Like there were many promises to work on an upgrade on Lang. I believe it was postponed for like many months or so. And then when this testing framework are put in place, I can quickly check whether code will work or not. And that's how we get to reduce upgrade time from like a few months into 1 month. I believe originally like people were looking for upgrade to burn tax, and it has been around for like 3 months or so. But then with the upgrade testing script, then I managed to bring it down for one month only on the WhatsApp upgrade. The testing script is mainly to ensure that like the logic will not kill the chain, and that script like makes us feel a lot safer when releasing a new upgrade.
So you're the reason why the upgrades with the L1 Task Force have been seamlessly executed in comparison to in the past, where it was halting the chain for longer periods of time. Whereas you guys, I remember, I think the last several ones, I didn't even feel it. Like it was in, and then it was on. And then, I mean, the people that got affected were typically the layer 2s that, for whatever reason, didn't update.
Yes, and also on user, like user will not feel anything at all. Like there's like very minor UX experience issue for user. So I think it's an improvement. Of course, that there's still a lot to work on, especially with Astropod case. Since I'm not really since I I cannot believe that they withdraw from Lung. This is something that I like. I probably believe the whole team don't really see that as well. However, I mean, like, talk with Astropod team has been good so far. I've been able to debug their issue. So the issue is not with smart contract, but more on front end. And this is something that I have notified the team as well. And it's currently being worked on. I mean, like, for Astropod front end is owned by Delphi Lab and not open source. So it's going to be very lengthy. Not like they have to go through checks, officers, making sure that everyone agree authorization and stuff on Delphi Lab side before they can change the front end for Astropod Classic. But once it's one Delphi Lab like agrees, then the problem will be dealt with very quickly.
Am I clear? Am I good to go? Since I could hear a pause, I'm like thinking, I like it was like with your communications with Astroport, you know, I wanted to kind of throw in there like previously. Jerry and I had connected LBA or the L1 team as a whole with other developers outside of Luna Classic because I mean, for me anyways, my agenda, if you want to call it that, was really to push for more cross-chain collaboration. One being Whitewell with their Megaloot chain and how both communities can interact with each other. We do have plans to give to do more of that is Jerry and I are already in contact with many chains and are establishing those relationships. I know with you trying to play catch up, is it too soon for us to get you connected with that, or do you need a little bit more time to kind of play catch up? Or are you good to say like, yeah, get me connected and we can kind of pick up from where LBA left off?
I mean, like, so far I have only known of the Happy Cat Crypto and on RAM, which is still left in Lang Bernami Tam. These two were not communicated with the team during our daily meeting. So there was a lot that I don't know around the on-ramp and Happy Cat Crypto proposal. But it's getting better now.
Do you need some time to play catch up before Jerry and I start throwing more on your plate?
Yeah.
All right. It sounds like you got like quite a bit. I was like, we'll hold off. Yeah, because I know like you're in contact with CENTCOM and he's got a lot on his plate, but I wanted to make sure that Jerry's just like, hey, we want to make an introduction because I had a conversation with Oho, the CEO, and I think you might appreciate him, but I think I'll hold off on that because he's got a TradFi background, much very um, similar to Fafi from the quant team, who's he's TradFi as well. So I don't know. I'll hold off on that. But yeah, let us know if you got. Damn, we're already coming up on the 10-minute mark. Shit.
I think I will. So I think the progress so far with Y will. So there's some progress. There's some progress. Cencom, he has contacted me looking for small smart contract app to onboard the Y whale contract on Lung. So there are some improvement there. I will be handling. I will be like handling the smart contract issues next week. So I think we can expect to see the Y whale very soon on Lung.
Very
Wow,
cool.
that's exciting.
Damn, fuck. Okay, so let's see. Is there any updates you can provide? Shit, we are running out of time already. Is there any updates you can provide as far as like?
I know. I think these updates should best be announced by Y whale team.
Yeah. No. I meant any updates regarding any communications as far as like between the L1 team and the Quant team, like if any, like is there a status or is there any specific directions that the L1 team thinks it wants to go that might be best pursued? What does that look like? Because I do want to get to Gavik's on ramp interface, and I know like we've only covered half of the topics that we took note of that we wanted to cover, but that's fine. We can come back to it later in a later episode. Sorry, I feel like I'm rushing you now, so don't feel pressure to blast through it.
But yeah, so I guess that should be updated so far. For Quant team, how do I say this? For Quant team, so I've been like maintaining a direct group with them. They've been really helpful and they've been really open, and I think that like there should be. I mean, like it's still in like exploration phase. Yeah, something like that. It's exploration, where so the L1 team try to understand USTC work. So yeah, that should be update for USTC team. That is that we are still in talk with them to understand better on how their model work.
Okay. That being said, Jerry, do you want, because we are now on the 5-minute mark, do you want to see if we can't get Gavik up here if he's open to it? Because this is kind of like where we start breaking our own protocol. But I mean, we've made those rare exceptions. But regarding on ramp, like what does that look like? What does that mean for end users? Jerry, if you can send that invite, if he's willing to accept it.
Yeah, I'll send
We'll
him.
give him the last 5 minutes to kind of weigh in on it.
Gavik, I sent you an invite to speak. When you come up, you can just give us a quick update on where that's at, if you're able to do so. He didn't request before, so maybe he's not in a position to where he can talk. But if he comes up, then we'll do that. Otherwise, can we get into something super exciting that myself and PSX are pretty bullish about? Uh,
Well,
well,
we go in Banksy's.
oh yeah. By the way, I designed a new brand using one of my PFPs, and I'll have to show it to you. Vin, we talked about video games a little bit. What video games did you grow up with and love as far as that goes? And I know this is, I mean, guys, this does relate to Luna Classic because we do have video games getting made, so we could talk about this, dang it.
So I think I grew up with Age of Empire. It's a very famous game in Vietnam. Like you will see in my age, everyone will play Age of Empire. Does it sound strange in US?
No, I played Age of Empires before. It's actually pretty cool. I guess it's a real-time strategy. Am I right on that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're on the. I think there's a fourth installment on it. I mean, I have the second game. It's been a while since I've played it, but yeah, you can lose your ass in there. Considering that the game is so damn addictive, by the time you look up, 4 hours have passed and it only felt like 5 minutes. So something I'd be very careful about when playing.
That's so many games are like that. But, the primary reason I brought this up is earlier Vin described that Vietnam has a very engaged population in coding itself. That also includes gaming. And I'm sure you told us that they have conferences that focus on gaming alone, and the population and how many people that are actually interested in it is actually profound.
Yeah, also this is for blockchain gaming. This is specifically for blockchain gaming because one of Vietnamese project called Axie Infinity. So Axie Infinity spearhead the trend for blockchain gaming, and then everyone start doing blockchain gaming. So
and Axie Infinity has an awesome model too. So it's like the model is perfect for investors to make money with it, of course. And it's a really good model, just the way it's designed. It's like it's made for blockchain gaming. Because I think when you're talking about all these games that are on PlayStation 5 and Xbox and all this other on these other systems and computer, when you transfer it over to blockchain, it's going to look different because there has to be a business model associated with it.
Yes. I mean, like it's one of the first thing, like one of the first blockchain project in Vietnam that hits market cap for more than 1 billion. So it's how do I say? I think it's something that we're proud of, and yeah, and after I seen Infinity, like many like it becomes like a dream. It becomes like a beacon that propel many game development team in Vietnam to follow, and that's how it started the whole trend in Vietnam.
Well, Vin, I want to keep talking to you about that offline as well, because in my Web3 experience, I've been making tons of contacts, and I know I have multiple people interested in having conversations with game developers in regards to putting games on blockchains. So we'll continue that conversation offline. PSX, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to make a snarky comment that you should see the shit Jerry keeps throwing at me. Like I'm expected to keep up with everything that he's trying to pursue. Sometimes it's like, dude, you need to take a chill pill or take a break or something like that, dude. I was like, man, this is too much at one time. But yeah, no. Also, was kind of I mean, I know we're like out of time, and I just really because I know we've have other teams like layer 2 teams that are currently building like their own library gaming. I'm very much fascinated to see how that's going to compete against the mainstream market, such as the Unreal Engine and Steam as well, with their massive, more established foundation. So it'll be a fascinating thing to watch. I think there's an opportunity where even because I know individuals within the LDF validator team, like they're very much well connected with very talented individuals. At what scope, I don't know. Within gaming and other products and services as well that they're producing. So I don't know. That might be a conversation to be had in the future. Jerry, how do you want to wrap this up, man? There's so many directions I want to
Yeah,
go.
I
I'm going to
know
get
the
lost.
gaming thing. We could literally host a space and be talking about it for
Yeah.
4 hours plus. I mean, it's crazy, all the interactions and how do you get around gas and all that other kind of stuff with gaming. And there's lots of solutions. And I've actually asked a lot of questions. So I mean, that is an interesting topic in itself. And Vin, if we ever do something like that, I'd like to invite you on to be a part of it because you do have a little bit of a unique perspective on that because you're in an area, you're in a country that has spearheaded some very successful blockchain games.
Yes.
We won't even talk Luna Classic. We'll just stick with video games. Like, just talking video. I'm down for that.
100%. Go ahead, Vin, and then we're gonna probably have the closing remarks.
I mean, like, I can. I mean, like, if you want to ask me anything about blockchain gaming in Vietnam, then I would be very love to answer.
Awesome. So that's a future episode, PSX. I mean, we'll have to talk about it, but I think that would be fun to talk about. Other than we address drama, we talk about business and proposals and stuff like that. But sometimes it's really nice to have a conversation that's a little more lighthearted, and we're all actually gaming.
Yeah, just break the ice a little bit. It's like it starts to get insufferable. Go 1 too often times. It's like like guys, go touch some grass or something.
Right. Well, I want to personally thank everybody that is in the listeners right now for supporting us and listening to the podcast. Next week, we have someone that is not on Luna Classic that is an artist that has several projects on the Ethereum blockchain. He's an awesome artist. His name's Tonko. If you see him around, follow him. But we'll get him on next week around the same time. And that said, PSX, do you have anything to say in closing remarks? And then
excited to have those open conversations. I know I've been engaged with the Banksy's community as well. So for any NFT lovers, from what I've gathered, because I'm a huge supporter of our veterans here in the United States, it really excites me that they have a very concentrated veterans community. So that's something that I want to have that conversation with them and see what additional benefits, medical services, such as like the ones that we see and hear about with the VA. That's something I think there's some really cool opportunities to make some improvements in the medical field and the kinds of treatment that our servicemen and women get. So I do have a very vested interest in where that goes, just because of my because I have a lot of friends and family that did serve. But in regards to the L1 updates, once we get more regarding that on ramping, we'll see if we can't extend that conversation further. And with that, then I do want to say thank you so much for your contribution and being a part of this episode. We'll still continue our conversation and connect you with other teams out in and outside of Luna Classic when we see it. And if you're not too busy, we'll establish those lines of communications if you like. So don't feel pressured to just take it on. If you're busy and you're bottleneck, just let us know. We'll back off.
Oh no, no worry, no worry. I really appreciate me you connecting.
Very cool, very cool. With that, guys, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And until next time, we'll see you, next week? Right, Jerry?
Yeah, I think we're going to do it on Saturday as well because you have more free time on Saturday personally. So I
Yeah.
think we're going to stick to, Saturdays moving forward in the future. Now, I will be doing a NFT space probably on Wednesdays in the middle of the week. Any NFT project from any blockchain is welcome. And it's just for people that are geeky about NFTs. And I tell you what, when I was a kid, I collected baseball cards and garbage pail kids and all that kind of stuff. So we really get into the weeds of the conversations, and they get pretty fun. So I'm trying to get that scheduled for Wednesday next week to do the first one. And yeah, and Vin, I don't know how you are on NFTs, but if you're available, you're always welcome.
Okay, thank you. For me, NFT is how to say it's also a very uh, promising topic, but I don't actually look into NFT that much actually. Like I still wonder about like the usage of NFT in blockchain. Although I know like um, I know like NFT has like really have like a low liquidity. Like they don't have like when compare them to fungible token, they have really low liquidity, and people are still trying to find a place for NFT in blockchain. But I think it's more about the future where people will try to tokenize real asset with NFT. So I think it's more about the future of NFT, and currently I don't see any value in NFT.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to onboard you and make sure we get an NFT or two to you just so that you have them.
I really appreciate. I mean, like, if I can
No
get my hand
value,
on some,
boy.
I
All
gave
right, Jerry.
TSX an NFT too, but yeah, okay. When it comes to certain topics, I don't shut up. So it is time to go. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Vin, do you have any last words?
yes, I think I have some last word. So I think most people come here to learn about the issue with hexagon and the issue with blockchain, and I want to reassure people. For blockchain, it is only like me helping Zada, and I work on it like 4 or 5 hours a month. So it's very little time, very little time. And for Hexagon, the cooperation with them is purely technical. Everything outside, like political, organizational funding, all of it is independent. So it's purely technical. And I want people to understand correctly about those two things.
100%. It's up to the community who you're going to have to work with moving forward. So obviously, when those funding proposals come up, they can definitely voice their opinions when those proposals come up. And when they pass, we have to accept them. When they don't pass, then we have to look for new solutions. So we're always going to be moving forward. I know we've had tons of conversations with Vin, and it's all about accomplishing the tasks at hand. And if there's another problem that presents itself, then they will be engaged in finding solutions and supporting those that are finding solutions. So the community is very powerful in if they want something, they can get what they want but it does require a little bit of work on the part of some individuals. So we can have conversations all day long, but just talking does what? It's just talk. So let's address the problems, and then let's find solutions. And Vin, you have been rocking it in that category, and you guys have been performing ever since you've been working for us, and I appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of this. PSX, do you want to wrap it up for us?
We'll see you guys next week. Guys, thanks a lot. So that's it.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks for showing up.